Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. This is Lifestyle Critic, where we break down movies and TV shows into their core elements. And in this video, we are going to be reviewing Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which is the fourth installment and is also a standalone sequel in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise and is loosely based on the Tim Powers novel of the same name, On Stranger Tides, which incidentally was what was inspiring the Monkey Island franchise, which you could argue is what the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise takes some inspiration from as well. So it really does come full circle. Now, as far as On Stranger Tides, the movie is concerned, I absolutely loved this movie. It was a really refreshing batch of new characters in this film, truly formidable villains as well, a really fun and light-hearted tone, and a really intriguing plot, wrapping it all together, which I just thought was absolutely brilliant. And the numbers speak for themselves, as this was the most successful Pirates of the Caribbean franchise movie, grossing over $1 billion. And I really liked how they brought four characters in the fourth movie right to the forefront. So we had Jack Sparrow, Angelica, his formidable previous love interest, Barbossa, the main villain from the previous movie, and the new villain Blackbeard as well in this movie, which just meant this film was absolutely awesome. It's definitely my favourite Pirates of the Caribbean franchise movie, and I cannot wait to break it down for you in this movie review. So from a storyline point of view, I really liked it in this movie, as it's really simplistic but also really fun, easy to follow, got loads of twists and turns in there, and it's really fantasy based as well, which is really great. But anyway, it starts off with Jack Sparrow reluctantly and being forced into joining nefarious pirate Blackbeard's crew because he wants his compass to try to find a particular item, which is just really cool. And we also meet his former love rival, the Angelica character, that really can hold her own, and she is definitely one of the best female characters in the entire Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and I just thought she was such a good double act with the Jack Sparrow character. We also have the Barbossa character, Blackbeard, and a Spanish army trying to find the fabled Fountain of Youth for different reasons, and so the film then explores which one of these three groups is going to be successful in locating and finding the Fountain of Youth, whether or not they're going to be able to meet all of the requirements in terms of using it potentially properly. And like I said, there's loads of twists and turns involved throughout, so from a storyline point of view, it is truly gripping and really fun as well. So from a positives point of view, it was a really fun and light-hearted movie, especially when you compare it to the second movie and the third movie as well. Like I also said, it's got some brilliant new characters that were all individually just so brilliantly created, so compelling, so layered, and brilliantly working and intertwining with the existing characters, which I thought was really great. I thought it was really inspiring as well. I thought the Fountain of Youth was a really great objective for loads of different characters to try to locate, so it had a really cool quest mission aspect to it as well. And I really like the fantasy elements introduced in this movie as well. All of the mermaids, I know they were a little bit hit and miss with some people, but I thought it was really capturing the fantasy and adventure aspects that the pirates' lure is all based around, and obviously, like I said as well, is based in the On Stranger Tides novel as well. I mean, on the negatives, you could say that the post-credit scene does leave things a little bit open-ended. Hopefully when they do finally commission the sixth movie, they can kind of pick up where they left off at the end of this movie. And also, I guess you could say that it doesn't have the Elizabeth Swann character and the Will Turner character, and it isn't really related to them as well. But I would also flip that negative into a positive to say that it's a refreshing new take, new characters, new storylines, new worlds as well. And I guess the third criticism that you could say is that it doesn't interconnect with other storylines and it doesn't have a two-parter associated with this film. But again, I think that's a bit of a positive, as it's really taking inspiration from the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie being a bit of a close-ended standalone sequel. And so all of the negatives I would flip into positives, and I just really love the storyline in On Stranger Tides. So from a cast and characters point of view, I also really love this movie, as they truly had such brilliant cast members playing such great characters in this movie. Obviously, like I said as well, the storyline is really great, but the characters really do come into their own. So let's break them down one by one. So first up, we of course have Johnny Depp, who is back as the brilliant and iconic Jack Sparrow character. And like I said, he really does feel like he's re-energized and back to his true top form like he was in the first movie. A brilliantly fun and light-hearted setting, and it really does bring the Jack Sparrow character out in its best form, as it's just such a fun character within this world, which is absolutely brilliant. Next up we have Penelope Cruz, who is playing the Angelica character, a former lover and a brilliant rival that can really stand up to the Jack Sparrow character and really match his level. Obviously the Jack Sparrow character is truly epic in terms of getting out of crazy situations, and the Angelica character can really stop him in his tracks and really make his life difficult, which I thought was really, really interesting. Obviously Penelope Cruz was pregnant during some of the filming scenes in this movie, so they brought her sister Monica in to be her double, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Next up we have Geoffrey, who is back as the Barbosa character, who was just such a brilliant character, and I love his journey across all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies in terms of going from a villain to going to a bit of an anti-hero, and he really does play another rival to the Jack Sparrow character, and is really piratey. He's got his own different objectives. He has grown as a character as well, and you get to see a lot of that in this movie, and like I said, he just integrates into the film so well and has his own different objectives that he's trying to do, so he's a truly legendary character. And then finally we also have Ian McShane, who is the new addition in this film as the Blackbeard character. Oh my god, so much better than the Davy Jones character. I was really frustrated that they gave that Davy Jones character 2 movies and potentially coming back in the 6th film, as he was just such a dreadful villain. And I just feel like the Blackbeard character really did bring new meaning to the term menacing villain, as this character is a truly ruthless pirate that is just so desperate to try to get to the Fountain of Youth. You find out why as the movie progresses, but this character is just hell-bent and is just relentless to try and get there. He will step on anyone that he can and that he needs to in order to get his aim, and he is just such a brilliant character. He's also linked with the Angelica character, and you find out a lot more about their relationship. And then when the Jack Sparrow character is introduced into that as well, it just means all of the characters are just working so well together. We then have the crew members, and they are just as hilarious as ever. They have some brilliant one-liners in this movie as they do in all of the other movies, which was really consistent and really great. And we also have the mermaids, like I said, adding a lot more of a fantasy aspect into this film as well. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I just thought it worked really well as well in terms of showing how ruthless the Blackbeard character is, and then just being really great in terms of the pirates world building in this movie. So from a cast and characters point of view, I think this movie is also absolutely brilliant. So from a visuals point of view, this movie is also really cool as well. I know I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record in terms of giving this movie so many compliments across all of the different aspects, but from a visuals point of view, I also think this film is really cool. I mean, all of the islands that they go to look absolutely brilliant. You're truly immersed and captivated into all of the different locations, all of the battles that they do, all of the sword fight battles, all of the ship battles look really cool as well, and all of the voodoo. That was a new aspect introduced exclusively in this movie. That was really cool as well. All of the mermaid scenes were really nice too, and the Fountain of Youth was, like I said before, is really inspiring, really fantasy based, and was really capturing the moment and really transporting you into this mythical world, which I thought was really cool. The opening act was really legendary as always. The chase sequences that ensued was absolutely hilarious and truly captivating as well. And like I said before, I just thought it had a really fun aesthetic, just being a lot more lighter in tone, especially after the 3rd movie. My expectations were quite low when I originally watched this movie, and I was just blown away by how awesome it was. And so from a visuals point of view, I just have to say this movie is also pretty epic. So from a comparison point of view, the first movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Curse of the Black Pearl, definitely has a bit of a soft spot for me, and so that movie is always going to be my favourite movie. However, I do feel like On Stranger Tides is definitely a great contender for the second best Pirates of the Caribbean franchise movie. I just thought it had such great new characters in Blackbeard and Angelica, and the Fountain of Youth storyline was super compelling. That actually really neatly followed on from the end of the 3rd movie, and so chronologically followed really well. Speaking of the 3rd movie, I think this film is so much better than Atwell's End, which just felt really bloated, really annoying in terms of just being really end of the worldy, which I know is the clues in the title, but it just felt a little bit depressing, and it was just really pulled down by lame characters such as Beckett, such as Davy Jones, and I just feel like they didn't do the Calypso character that well, especially how brilliantly she was introduced in the 2nd movie. And so for all of those reasons, I just feel like the On Stranger Tides movie was just such a refreshing and much needed next installment in terms of the brilliant Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So overall, I'm sure you can imagine, I absolutely loved Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I thought it was such a cool installment. I really liked the fact that it was a bit of a standalone sequel, and it just was such a refreshing new take in the franchise. It had such a brilliant light-hearted tone, brilliant new characters, excellent compelling storyline, and it was just wrapped up so brilliantly. I hope they continue this franchise so that we can see what happens next, and we can also see what's going to happen to the Angelica character in the future as well. But you know, as far as the overall score for On Stranger Tides, I have to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.